Joy Gurudev, Joy Ma. I want to share a little bit with you about my experience with Gurudev and the Vidya organization and my journey to enlightenment, frankly. And to start off with, growing up, I was always a spiritual person. I would go to the mandir with my mother. I knew what the Ramayana was and Ram and Sita's story. I would celebrate Navratri and Diwali and Holi. But I always thought that moksha or liberation was something that was available to only someone like a Brahmin or Mother Teresa, even though I knew that was the end goal, where we get out of the cycle of life and death and reincarnation. I just didn't think it was available to me. But then a few years ago I was struggling, and my friend suggested I talk to her guru in Mumbai, and at first I was like, I don't know about this. My understanding of a guru is just that he's a teacher. Like, what can that help? If I'm struggling, I need to talk to Bhagwan or God. I didn't need to talk to a human. But my friend really, thought that he would help me, and I thought, fine, I'll try this out for an hour. And in that first conversation with Gurudev, he just opened everything up for me. He helped me with the thing that I was struggling for 13 years. And in that one conversation, I was able to put that burden down. Anytime I had a question or didn't understand what he was trying to tell me, he would pivot on the spot and share the lesson through a story that really resonated with me. And then I was able to understand the message and lesson that he was trying to give me. And he also answered some of my bigger questions, something like, why was I the one struggling with this thing? When people around me weren't dealing with this, like, why was I the one who had to deal with this? And, in that conversation, he opened it up so much for me that afterwards, whenever he would suggest something, I would just do whatever he said, whether it was to do a sadhana or take a class or to talk to a mentor who would help me out with my journey. I just completely believed in him because, he helped me when no one else could. And slowly by slowly, I was just doing things and learning from him. And from him, I learned about what enlightenment and self-realization was, in that it's available to anyone. You just have to do a few things. You have to have faith in your guru, 100% undying faith. And part of that faith comes from doing what he says, and knowing that whatever task he puts in front of you is something that's going to help you with your journey. And, I was taking classes with him and learning from him and the other mentors and also the other participants in the program, people that were also learning it just like I was. And 6 months after I met him, I started taking a class called Swartoday, which is ancient wisdom, probably the highest wisdom given by Shiva himself. And in that course, I obviously was learning a lot, but things just started opening up. And it seemed like all of us in that class were on our way to enlightenment. We were put on that path. And to be honest, certain things that people were saying to me, other mentors or things that I was getting, it seemed like maybe I would be the next one in the organization to reach enlightenment, or receive enlightenment rather. And someone in that class did become self-realized, but it wasn't me. And while I was really, really happy for her, because everyone who reaches enlightenment benefits all of us. Part of me was like, oh, I thought that was supposed to be me, like that little bit of that ego was there. And the day after this woman received her enlightenment, I remember lying in bed in the morning before my day started and looking at my bedroom wall. And I just realized that I just let it go, this desire for enlightenment, this craving or that I had, a want that I had. And it was almost like a little golden yellow glowing ball inside of me left, and it just ceased to exist. It didn't exist in my body. It didn't exist in the room. I don't know where it went, but that desire just vanished. And I kid you not, 24 hours later, Gurudev blessed me with self-realization. It was one of those things where as soon as I let that go, it came to me. I had woken up that day with like a headache for the second day in a row, or maybe the third, and I didn't quite understand what was going on because, the first day I thought maybe I didn't sleep enough, or I was sick or something. By the third day, though, I was in pain, and when I mentioned it to my to my mentor, she knew what was going on, and so she had me have a conversation with Gurudev, who I could not even tell you what that conversation was. It's indescribable. I'm not quite sure what happened during that conversation, but things were different. Things were new and open and complete 180, in that stuff that I previously held on to didn't exist anymore. And instead it was just like this new way of being, this new life. And since then, past 2.5 years since then, I've been on such a journey that even thinking back to that moment feels so far away from where I am right now, because enlightenment is not the end goal, as I've discovered. It is just the beginning. And with Gurudev's help and his guidance and that support of all the mentors and the other participants and sadhaks in Vidya organization, I've continued to grow, and it's all because of the blessings and grace of Gurudev. And it was only possible because I had 100% faith in him and completely surrendered to him. So I wanted to share that with you, and I hope that my journey helps with your journey. Joy Gurudev, Joy Ma.